Hi everyone, it's Chenso from Reality Art Pod here to talk about Survivor Season 48, Episode 2, titled Humble Traits. Last week on Survivor, our three tribes were unleashed on the game, and after Vula lost the immunity challenge, the tribe sided with idol holder Say and sent Stephanie and her hat back to the White Lotus. Before I dive in, I put a link in the description to my playlist where you can catch up on my previous recaps. If you like the content, consider liking and subscribing. My videos aren't meant to replace the original content, and if you use my link in the description, you can binge Survivor by trying Paramount Plus for free. But let's dive into it. Following Steph's departure, Say and Mary have a tense moment back at camp, with Say being annoyed that Mary lied to her face and voted for her. Say tells us she doesn't trust Mary because she has her alliance and her idol, and she's coming for Mary next. The next day at Siva, girl, that's a big bird. And David reveals to the group he has 4 nipples, and that's why he likes milk. He would even allow himself to be milked. Charity has an odd foot, and Mitch jokes about his speech impediment. Chrissy has an eternally deep belly button, and the group diagnoses Kyle with a wart. Charity calls these humble traits, and oop, she said the thing. At Logie, the vibes are good as well. They're bonding in the water. Eva suggests that Star sits out of the next immunity challenge, which seems innocent but offends Star and makes Star feel like she's in danger. So Star goes on another solo idol hunt. Star finds the Beware advantage with yet another puzzle lock. Star quickly finds out that she has to press her key against the symbols on the trees, and she confides in Joe about it to enlist his help in figuring it out. Joe brings Shaheen in on the plan to get his help, but also so he's less complicit in this plan with Star. Shaheen gets to work, chaotically skittering around the island and figuring this out. I still feel like Star could have done this by herself, especially because Shaheen isn't sure if he wants to help Star or screw her over. Star is using her Beware advantage to bond with Thomas and Bianca, telling them about it. Now everyone knows except Eva. Shaheen and Thomas scheme, and Thomas suggests that they make Star's clue disappear so she doesn't have a vote or an idol, and they just blindside Star at Tribal. This suggestion makes Shaheen sus of Thomas, clocking Thomas as an evil mastermind type. Joe is conflicted, crying into a coconut on the beach. He ends up telling Eva about the entire Star situation. Over at Green Vula, they're being attacked by flies. The men meet and debate between Mary and Say. Kevin suggests they get rid of Say to get the idol hidden again so that they can find it. Boats show up at camp and they get a clue that they have to play a finger game to decide who's going on an adventure. Thomas, Mitch, and Mary are sent, and Say is annoyed that Mary was picked. The journeygoers are split up into 3 separate puzzle stations. Their big task is arranging sliding tiles to have them be in numerical order before the hourglass winds down. The difficulty level of this seems like a 3 out of 10. Mitch and Thomas complete it, but Mary doesn't and loses her vote. Thomas wins a steal a vote advantage, and Mitch wins a block a vote. Mary heads back to Vula and tells the group the truth that she lost her vote. Say is rolling her eyes at Mary. Thomas lies to his tribe, saying he doesn't have an advantage. Mitch is completely honest with Siva about what happened, and they're happy for him. Charity gets really emotional about Mitch's win, calling Mitch her buddy. These two are a close duo, which leads David to start conspiring against Mitch because of his friendship with Charity. Mitch and Charity are the only two not in the anti-Charity alliance, and the anti-Charities, led by David, go hunting for the Beware advantage. Kyle finds it, and of course, yet another decoder. They recruit gamer Camilla to decode the riddle. Camilla doesn't even bother with the animal shapes mess. She just takes the 6 letters they found around camp in the premiere and figures out that the word is enlist, earning Kyle the immunity idol. They head to their immunity challenge where Mitch explains their camp life. Jeff asks Mitch how he'd like to be communicated with by the group, which was a cute little moment. In their challenge, one hero player needs to jump off a tower into the ocean, swim underwater to get buoys, and then the rest of the players will swim out, get across a joint balance beam, and shoot 5 buoys into a basket. They're also playing for reward. The first tribe to finish gets immunity and a giant fishing kit, with second place also getting immunity and a tiny but still decent fishing kit. Star and Camilla will sit out. They get started with Shaheen, Mary, and David taking on the hero role. Mary's a great swimmer, and these 3 are eating and leaving no crumbs. David does a classic Survivor somersault and a roll, as Camilla and Star get friendly on the sidelines. Joe and Eva work well together on the balance beam, and Joe launches his buoy into outer space. Mitch and Chrissy are struggling with the balance beam, with Chrissy taking a hard fall. Then Bianca hits Thomas in the face with the pole. Every mother in America screaming, "You're gonna poke your eye out!" Logie gets to shooting first, with Joe doing the shooting. Wouldn't it be fantastic if there were a basketball player on this team? Oh wait, there is, sitting out. Cedric and Kevin get stuck on the balance beam, making Vula fall far behind. Eva swaps in for the shooting for Logie and starts bodying this as PE coach Mitch starts shooting and insanely gets 5 in a row, winning Siva immunity and big reward. Logie puts the nail in it with Joe finishing up the shooting as Kevin and Cedric are still on the balance beam in what Jeff calls an abysmal failure, just like Kevin's attempt at a dive. So Vula will be going back to Tribal. They head back to camp where Cedric is really upset about causing the team to lose the challenge. They're all crying. Cedric feels humbled because he's successful in the real world, but now he's failing on television. Kevin tells Cedric that this vote has to be Say to flush the idol, and Kevin confesses to us he's come to play as he skitters around camp telling everyone to vote for Say. Mary has no vote and pretty much has to sit around and await her fate. quickly. Cedric doesn't like the new plan. He sees Say as a daughter and trusted ally, and he tells Say to play her idol at Tribal, telling Say that Kevin has been conspiring against her and that they should both vote for Mary. After this, Say goes right to Justin and begins an anti-Kevin campaign because he's playing hard against her. This all comes down to a Kevin or Mary Tribal because Say is definitely playing her idol. At Tribal, Jeff starts things off going straight to Say, who says it's the core four players against Mary. Mary and Say continue to scuff up against each other, with it being obvious the players just want to get to the vote. So they vote, except for Mary, who doesn't have a vote, and when asked for advantages, Say dedicates her idol to her grandmother, using it on herself. Jeff reads the votes, there's one vote for Say that doesn't count, and shockingly 3 votes for Kevin, blindsiding him out of the game. So we lose Kevin here, who I felt really good about preseason. He goes on to have a really strong premiere, going from hurting his shoulder, which reportedly was way worse than we saw. He goes on the journey and makes friends with Kyle. That could have been a great duo. Coming into this episode, he was the most connected social butterfly on the tribe, aligns with the 4-person alliance and with Mary. He goes out of his way to protect Mary, and that's where it really all goes wrong for him. He got overconfident and thought he could get the group to flip on Say, and even still ended up voting for Say, which shows he was convinced to the end that the other guys were going to go along with it. I still think there's potential for a great player there, and as a character, he was fun and had a positive spirit. It would be cool to see him on an early boot or second chance season. Coming into next week, we have Purple Loggy with a lot of unfinished business between Star and Eva, though there could be a rising appeal for the group to turn on Thomas and Bianca if Thomas continues to act shady, having already been clocked by Shaheen as a threat. On Siva, the anti-charities are working well together, and they all have their votes and an idol. Even if Mitch uses his block a vote, they won't be able to save themselves from the 4. And the Disaster Tribe, Vula, where Say and Mary are still at odds with each other. Mary needs to find an idol to keep herself safe, as obviously Cedric and Say have a tight bond that Justin would have to go along with. But that's all I have to say about this episode. Let me know in the comments what you felt about Kevin's departure, and what are your predictions for next week. If you liked the video, consider liking and subscribing. I'll be back next Wednesday with more Survivor. I'm also recapping Deal or No Deal Island, the Challenge All-Stars, and tomorrow's the finale of The Traitors, so you really know where to find me. Bye!